welcome to Podcast of Faith. I'm your host, Annette Campbell, and today we're with a beautiful name. You will love it. I'm not making up this name. This is actually Jess, Smart, Smiley. Look at that lovely smile.
You got it all.
So Jess, you have a wonderful story, and I would just love you to tell me a little bit more about your faith and things you've been through, and so.
Sure. Yeah, you and I were talking about I brought up a struggle that I had in my life, a pretty serious medical condition where I caught the family stomach flu, and I threw up, and in the act I felt something tear in my upper abdomen. It was excruciatingly painful. And over the course of a year, it spread from just right here all the way across my abdomen. It actually also went down and it traveled to my back. And that whole time over that period of a year, I was losing my mobility. I couldn't sit as long anymore. I couldn't walk as far. I was hugging the walls just to get around. Handrails were like my best friend. I ended up getting a cane just so that I could move, and I would have to set it. Yeah, and by the time it hit my back,
and the doctors, no medical procedure, no money.
They thought they knew what it was, and they treated me for that, and it just got worse and spread. And so we tried a couple things. They weren't working. I had referrals to other doctors. By the time it hit my back, just under a year, it just immobilized me. I was in bed. I ended up seeing more than 70 doctors. I still don't have a diagnosis, actually.
Oh, you still don't?
I still don't.
But so how long it took? You said you were in bed. How many years?
Yeah, so once it hit my back, it put me in bed, and I was there for 3.5 years of my life.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, this is like a miracle, and they still haven't found, what's happening or what had happened.
No.
So how do you become mobile again? So after 3 years in bed, and during that process, is there anything that occurred to you or give you a change of mind? Tell me a little bit about that 3 years of.
Yeah, it was hard. It wasn't on my to-do list. And so it was really hard to go from going to family birthday parties and seeing my kids at events and going to movies with my friends and just going to the grocery store to pick something up to just being in bed 100% of the time. It was really hard mentally and physically and emotionally.
And your family, everybody's.
Oh, it affected everybody in my life. My wife was working full time. She was keeping the house together, getting the kids to school, and then her husband's in bed. And so I wasn't even able to work in full capacity. So what kept me going and kept me focused and kept me hopeful really was my faith in Jesus Christ, because even if I don't know the details, which I don't,
why?
I never asked why me. I really didn't, and that's not like that's not a brag. That's just I never hit that. But what I thought was, I know this is part of my eternal plan for me. I don't know the details of it, how it plays out, why I need this right now. But I believed it was meant to happen, so I better make it count. Otherwise, I'm just suffering.
So tell me about that process now. When you let it count, what did you do? What are some of the things what you could do? Because I know it'd be hard.
Yeah. Well, so instead of like, poor me, I'm stuck in bed, I can't do anything. Now this is part of who I am right now. What am I gonna do with it? Okay. Well, what do I have control over in my life? What can I actually do? Okay, let me do those things as well as I can. And I was very prayerful about it. My family was very encouraging and supportive. My ward family, I had the primary children performance sacrament meeting, and I wasn't there, so they came to my house afterward, around my bed in the bedroom, and they sang to me. And that was just a powerful testimony and a witness to me that, like, even in our trials, it helped me recognize that, of course, we have a Savior who was born in the lowest of circumstances so that he could apply the atonement to everybody in any circumstance of life. So here I am getting knocked down, but it's not the end of who I am. It's not the end of my story. And and I knew that, and so that kept me going, and I'm so grateful for it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're an author. You've written some books. Have you thought of writing this story? Is this something that you like to do? Or
Yeah.
even not? But I'd like to know how you recuperate, because it's a miracle, like over those 3 years.
I agree. I absolutely call it a miracle myself. And I got to a point where I started praying for a miracle specifically. For a while, I thought, I can't ask for a miracle. Like, I want help,
Yeah.
but like maybe save miracles for like someone more deserving. I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like I was undeserving, but then
Yeah.
I leaned into it and I prayed for a miracle, and what I got was a miracle, which is I actually have this device. It's about this big. It's
Yeah.
implanted in my back.
Okay.
It scrambles the pain signal to the brain, so I'm still in pain and I still feel it,
Yeah.
but not as much, and it allows me to sit and walk and move.
Yeah.
I can't do everything, I can't do it all as long, it still hurts a lot,
Yeah.
but I can move.
Wow.
And I don't have a diagnosis.
Yeah. So with that device, is that new? Is that something that's
It's been around for a couple decades. This is the newest model, the newest version,
That's
and by the
amazing.
time they have to replace the battery, it'll
Yeah.
be a newer, updated
yes,
version.
That's a miracle in itself, with
It's
the
incredible.
new technology. Or God bless us with the knowledge. Wow, your story is amazing, and your faith is amazing, because and the smile is I love your name, that joy, and so that is great. I'm thank you for sharing that story with me, and I know it gives hope to others out there. You know, everyone have the different circumstances, but that you're not alone. It's all that we're not alone. We all bear our own burdens, right? But to
Absolutely.
remember our Savior is there, and loved ones are there. You know, a friend, neighbor. These are the primary kids who came and sang with you.
Yeah.
Oh, precious. So we can reach out to others, and we can uplift others. So thank you so much for being with me today. And
Thank you.
I'm looking forward in this story later on in
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah.
And stuff. So if you want to learn more about Jess, you can find him on Instagram, Facebook, and a little bit more about him. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Annette.
Okay. Until we see each other again, we said, don't fear, but just have faith and hope.